Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. How's your week? Say hi, Bentley. Good. Yeah. How was your week? How was your day? Anything fun, interesting? Bentley, we actually took Bentley to the park yesterday. So, yes, it was nice. It was windy, and of course, the time that we did go, the sun went behind the clouds. And so then it was it was chilly with the wind blowing, but sun went behind the clouds, and then of course, whenever we got home, the sun came out from behind the clouds again. So yes, of course, Murphy's Law, right? Um, and then I did a I joined this book club thing. I went to yesterday. There's this new place in town that just opened up. It's a tea shop. And so it was a lot of fun. It's a really cute place. Um, I'm excited I'm excited to get the tea video started with that, the tea series. So that'll be exciting. We might do something. I don't know. We might do something with that. We might film some of them or do some of the videos from there. That would be fun and interesting, right? Anyways, and then we've had nice weather, but now it's like we have a wintry mix outside at the moment. It's, previous videos I talked about how we really didn't get any snow this season, or this winter, and typically we get between 24 to 36 inches of snow every winter, and we probably didn't even get 2 inches. So talking about how concerning that is, and then of course, there's a wintry mix outside at the moment, but it's not cold enough to stick or anything. So yes, hey, whatever gets that ground wet, right? But what are you drinking this morning? I am drinking my version of a London Fog. So organic steamed milk, organic grass-fed steamed milk. Stevia Smith's Black Lavender. It has the vanilla flavor in with the tea already, so I didn't add any vanilla to it. And of course, organic stevia. So, yes. Anyways, so, last week talked about embracing your power. And then one thing with the book club yesterday, we were talking about connections, making connections. And then sometimes it was just a reminder, sometimes you just need to talk. You just need somebody to listen. You don't need any feedback. You don't need any advice or anything. You just need them to listen. And so sometimes we have a friend, that friend that you could call, whether it's, your significant other, whether it's a parent, sibling, a friend, colleague. You can just call them and you can say, I just need to listen. I just need a soundboard. And sometimes just getting things out of your system, speaking these things, getting them out helps a lot. Have you ever thought something that's just kind of weighing on your mind, and then once you talked about it, it was gone, it was done, you felt so much lighter? Same thing. So I would say sometimes sometimes you'll just have to say, you know what, I just need somebody to listen. I don't need, please, I don't want any advice or anything like that. I just need somebody to listen. Now, if you have that one person that always likes to give advice, don't talk to them. Or don't do that with them. Because somehow, some way, they're going to come up with the, hey, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? No. Or you could tell them, don't give me your advice, write it down. and then you can tell it to me later. I don't know. But just, we all have that one person, right? That no matter what, they would. Um, Sometimes I have to. I like, because I like to help people. So sometimes, a lot of times when people talk, if they don't say, I just need somebody to listen, then sometimes I'll find advice for them or give advice or put in my 2 cents. But if they do say, hey, like, I just need to vent. I just need somebody, like, I can listen. So yeah, sometimes like Sean will vent, and then I'll start venting with him about whatever he's venting about, especially when it comes to work. And so, but and sometimes you could just have a full out venting fest, and sometimes that's fun. When you have, like, if you're venting about something, and then that person, you're standing more, and that person starts venting with you about what you're venting about. So that can be fun. So you can turn it into something fun. Even on something very serious, you could turn into something fun. So yes, definitely remember that. But wonder if you don't feel like having company, or you don't want to talk on the phone, or video chat. What if you don't want to do any of that, but you need to talk, or there's no one around and you need to talk? I would say use your imagination and pretend that you're talking to a therapist. Even if you have to lay on a couch and set like a stuffed animal or something in a chair where you can't see it, like as if you're in a therapist office, do it. And just talk and pretend like there's somebody there listening, and just talk, get it out. Who's going to know you did that, right? Especially if you're there by yourself, who's going to know you did that? So don't feel bad. Like, do your inner child, get your inner, remember we used to play tea, or, I guess, women, we played tea, did tea, or taught that with our Barbies and stuff like that, or played dolls or anything like that, or, or did write imaginary stories, or men, played GI Joes, or even when you went outside and played with your friends and you created this whole world of imagination. Like, find that child and do the same thing. You're still creating that world of imagination, but in a therapist office. Or you don't have to be in a therapist office. You could do, like you're sitting and chatting with a friend, and create that friend. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Because this is about what's going to make you feel better in that moment. If you have something weighing on you, you need to get it off your chest. Another thing you can do is do a audio journal. So instead of writing things out, like you don't feel like writing, get a voice recorder and talk. Talk out your feelings into the voice recorder. You can always delete it if you want to, so nobody else can hear it, only you. Another, I will say, keep in mind, with technologies these days, like if you just use your voice recorder on your smartphone, there's always a possibility that somebody else could hear it. So keep that in mind. But, for all you young people out there, there's this thing that they used to have called a voice recorder. And you put like a little small tape in it and you hit record. You can record and it can hear you talking. Yes, it does exist, and it still does exist. So you can get one of those. So less likely somebody would listen to your thoughts on that one. If you want to put them on something, like, or something to reference back to. That's up to you. I think honestly, I think it would be a good idea in a sense if you did that. Because I found out a lot of people, depending on what their journey was, you're going to find a lot of books out there. And nowadays, it's so, you can even self-publish. It's so easy to publish a book. You can self-publish it. Um, maybe you want to write a book. So that's a good way to record your journey. You never know. Or you can leave it for, your kids. If you have kids or someone you love. I mean, I have my mom did journaling, or she wrote down her thoughts and stuff, and so I still have that. I still look through that as well. It's nice, like it's helped me, especially like after she passed. Obviously I don't look in it. My parents never looked through my stuff, never looked, when I had a diary and stuff as a kid, like my parents never did that. We always had respect. You grow up, you don't go through a woman's purse, even if they gave you permission. Like, it still felt weird. Even nowadays, if, a friend or something's like, hey, grab so-and-so for me out of my purse. Like, I still feel weird doing that, even though giving permission. But like, I even though because we were best friends. We were best friends before we got together, and with it being, we share everything with each other, and like, I don't care if he goes in my wallet, and he doesn't care if I go into his wallet, but it's just that sense of respect that, I still feel a little weird going into his wallet to grab something. So I never read her journal until like after she passed, and I still do every now and then. And it's nice to know what my mom was thinking. So yeah, something else to think about. And since whether writing or, if you don't feel like writing, you can kind of do the same thing in like an audio. Because I listen to audiobooks all the time and podcasts and stuff. And so, listening to those things is nice. And honestly, like in some ways, like I almost think that would be a little better, because sometimes I like to hear my mom's voice. And so I don't, because that's one thing I don't want to forget is my mom's voice. So, if something was on audio, that would have been nice. So yeah, that's another option for you. But my point is, I know it's a little different, but, it's talking about when, doing things for yourself, making yourself feel better, even like little things, just talk it out, whether it's to someone else to just listen, whether it's to yourself. Another option you have is if you're employed. Every employee, I would say just about every employer has EPA, employee assistance program. And sometimes when you go through them, so many sessions will be covered to speak to a therapist. I did that after my mom passed. My husband helped me with that, as well as a friend. And so there was, so many sessions were covered. Then after that, sometimes insurance will cover it, sometimes it won't. But if anything, definitely take advantage of those sessions that you get for free. And they match you with the therapist for whatever you need for. So it was yeah. And I loved my therapist. She was great. So yes, there is nothing wrong with that. Just having somebody to just talk to. It does more than you think it does. It's interesting. A lot of times it makes you feel like a weight's lifted off of you. So, all right. Anyways, I'm rambling now. So, just talk it out, and go do something for yourself this week. Empower yourself. and have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next week under the willow tree. Bye.